All right, guys, on this episode, we're joined by Gustavo Aguilar, co-founder and CEO of Aguilar and MedSpa, a nationally recognized master injector / trainer and consultant with over 20 years of experience in medical aesthetics. He's known for delivering advanced results, non-surgical rejuvenation. Gustavo integrates cutting-edge laser technologies, injectables, and regenerative medicine to optimize both patient outcomes and long-term skin health. As a key opinion leader and national trainer, he specializes in energy-based devices like fractional CO2, Q-switched ND-YAG lasers, and RF platforms, while also helping practices scale through training and consulting. With a unique Eastern meets Western philosophy, Gustavo blends aesthetics, wellness, and longevity, making him a true leader in shaping the future of our industry. Everything on this podcast, guys, is informative. This is not medical advice by any means necessary. Please enjoy the show. All right, we're here with Gustavo Aguilar, and we're so excited to have you on the first ever Revive Regenerative podcast. Gustavo is a legend, I would say, down in South Florida when it comes to lasers and everything aesthetics, and he's done some training with some really outstanding people and very world-renowned people. So, Gustavo, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Chris. Thank you for having me.
So let's start off with just talking about your background, right? Kind of where you come from, what you do down in your practice, and kind of your influence in the aesthetic community.
So I've been in the medical field for 20 years. And of those 20 years, the last 8 years have been dedicated to aesthetics, regenerative medicine, functional medicine, as well as peptides. We do a lot of combination treatments from a holistic wellness perspective, from a laser skin rejuvenation, from body contouring, weight loss solutions as well. And the purpose of that is to give people back their confidence and to give them back, I guess, that feeling of feeling youthful again. And that comes not only from looking good outside, but also from feeling good on the inside. So we do a lot of combination treatments, hormone optimization, full facial balancing, and anything in between that. So it's just something that we're very passionate about in the office.
That's great. Yeah. And that's ultimately what regenerative medicine is really about, right? You know, especially on the aesthetic side, right? Making people feel good about themselves, make them look the way that they want to look, and help them to find that confidence ultimately that allows them to live a great life, a great healthy life full of longevity, which now we're seeing this term coined, longevity medicine, you know, versus the regenerative medicine, which I think coincides with each other fairly well. But talk to us a little bit about your background in terms of where you've trained, who you've trained with, and the things that you're doing specifically in the aesthetic community, just outside of your practice.
Yeah, outside of the practice, so we're currently an aesthetic center ourselves. We are laser trainers naturally for Revive Regenerative. We're also very well known in the community to do private trainings. And we also have a big focus on growing other consulting services in terms of med spas that want to build or incorporate aesthetics for lasers or devices. So we do a mix of seeing patients, but we also branch out to helping other people and supporting other practices grow. And in addition to that, the laser trainings has been a big portion of that lately, just because a lot of people have gotten an interest into skin rejuvenation, laser devices, and how technology can be implemented into the practice. As far as my personal background, I have a niche and passion for endocrinology, but I was very experienced doing many different things, and I came to a period of my career where I felt like it's not important just to be healthy, but also important to be able to incorporate medical treatments such as functional medicine to be able to give people back their health outside of traditional medicine. And then along the way, we found aesthetics, and we're very passionate about doing aesthetic medicine, which also empowers people to feel and look their very best.
Awesome. Yeah. And you have quite the array of technology in your office. Tell us a little bit about why you chose to partner with Revive Regenerative.
So as far as why we chose the iBlaze, the versatility of the device, the safety of the device, there was one thing that I really liked about it. It was very light in terms of the dexterity and the movement of the handpiece. And really important for us was being able to deliver results the entire year, because in Florida, as you know, it's summer. all year
Yeah.
long. It's hot and people are always worried about inflammation and downtime. So we're able to control the downtime by lowering the energy and giving people precision. And one of the features that the iBliss has is called the low pain mode. It's basically a low frequency of CO2 that doesn't give people the exaggerated downtime that we see on social media. And we're able to control downtime but deliver beautiful results at the same time.
Yeah, no, those are all great reasons why I pick an iBlaze, right? I think iBlaze, in terms of somebody that's very serious about a medical aesthetic practice, it's a versatile tool that allows you to get into, I think, more profitable areas than other aesthetic areas, right? Even when you think about body contouring or, pigment, for instance, with just an IPL or something like that, the true resurfacing market is on the rise, and we've seen it over the past few years. And so for us at Revive, it was very simple when we were building our portfolio to come out with something that was going to be magnificent for resurfacing, and the iBlaze was that. And what I love the most about the iBlaze, Gustavo, and I've talked about with you 1,000 times, is the ability to shoot from 0 to 10,000 microns, right? And everywhere in between. And so, when you look at our product, when you look at the iBlaze, you're looking at a product that has just about every single procedure already programmed inside the device and allows us to treat them, right? With the settings already instilled in the product. So, such an amazing device. How do you feel about using the iBlaze with some of the other products that you have, right? I know you obviously, we're going to get into our Color Max product. If you could kind of segue into the Color Max and what you're doing with the Color Max, and potentially talk about, using the CO2 and then using the Color Max, or vice versa. But start off with the Color Max and just talk about that product and how great it's been for your practice.
Well, the Color Max is an entirely different type of laser, of course. It's a laser that targets pigment, tattoos, a lot of sun damage, vascularities, overall rosacea, redness. So when you're looking at a Color Max, you're looking at no downtime type of lasers that give you beautiful results. It doesn't do quite the resurfacing that a CO2 does, and that's where you have to combine lasers. So in a way, I think it's important to educate clinicians and also business owners that are purchasing these devices for their clinicians to understand that some of the lasers give a little bit more downtime. We can still control the downtime, but you're able to also have a device like ColorMax that doesn't give you any downtime and gives you very beautiful natural results. So ColorMax is more about pigmentation. It's more looking for the colors, deep sun damage. So you're able to do a very specific type, and what I like to call like a sniper rifle. To me, an IPL is more like a flashlight that does some kind of benefit to some patient, and it has a role in aesthetic medicine and laser rejuvenation. But ultimately, the Color Max in itself is it's a sniper rifle. You're able to aim, you're able to be so precise with that device. You're only targeting the lesions, and you don't have to worry about the laser going off somewhere else. Also, the amount of heat that it creates when you're treating somebody, especially if you're thinking about somebody who's a little bit darker and you're maybe concerned about creating some kind of post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation, it's not really the case because we're able to control the settings very accurately. And you're not worrying about, again, like spilling the laser beam into another tissue. So there's no concern with that at all on that device. I think what I like to tell clinicians when we're training them is it's important. If you want to start with a Color Max session, you could do that, but you can also do a Color Max session, look for pigment, destroy it, and then you can also combine it with a CO2 iBlaze device in the same session to get even better results. And you're also decreasing the amount of sessions that you're doing, essentially. So if you're combining two lasers, you're getting double the results, you're getting different dots, and you're being able to treat different types of skin concerns. So patients ultimately love that because patients do want to see the result quickly. They want to be able to see that result somehow, that return of investment, but on their skin. And that's something that we're able to do when we combine lasers.
All right. So tell us why you chose to partner with Revive Regenerative. What is Revive Regenerative kind of doing differently that you would say other aesthetic companies are doing?
I think for us it was very important. Just so you know, my wife is also a PA and we both own the practice. So we were looking for a company that had an array of devices that would be able to be used in different skin types. Across the board, we have a lot of patients that have essentially from a Fitzpatrick 1 all the way to a Fitzpatrick 6. And we were looking for safety and efficacy. We were looking for a lot of support, top of the line trainings, of course, and we wanted to have a good relationship with the company that we will partner up with. So for probably for about 3 years, we did some research and looked into the Tentric Revive Regenerative devices. And for us, it was very important. We saw that a lot of KOLs in not just the U.S., but other parts of the country, including Central and South America, were using these devices. And for us, it was very important to analyze if this was going to be suitable for us. And we did. We established a great relationship with this laser company. We were able to talk to some of the KOLs at the time. And we felt very comfortable making a decision to partner up and be able to incorporate different devices. So we currently have a ColorMax Q-Switch ND-YAG, and we also have a CO2 fully resurfacing fractional laser. And so that was a big decision for us because we're a family-owned business, and we wanted to make sure that we were going to get the support and we were going to get the training to make it very safe, but also get patients very natural, beautiful results.
Yeah, and that's something that we talked about, right, Gustavo, a few times before we started our, I would say, relationship is, the importance of having somebody to help you, right? And, it's a tough industry for that sometimes, right? People kind of leave that device at your doorstep and they say, hey, good luck, and we'll kind of see what happens. And you've made some very smart decisions in terms of your products, and I mean, it shows with the way that your practice is operating, the clientele that you've established, and you have a beautiful practice down in Aventura, which is just amazing. And I recommend anybody that's watching the podcast right now, if you're getting aesthetic treatments done down in South Florida, please go to Gustavo, check his practice out. It's a beautiful location, but he's a guy that really takes care of his patients. Like you said, it's a family-owned practice and it's operated by you and your wife, and you really get that kind of small business feel, right? But with a large business sort of guidance, right? And that's super important, especially in the business of aesthetics. So Gustavo, talk a little, you just mentioned two products, right? Two of my favorites. One of them is the iBlaze. And I can tell you when we started Revive Regenerative, one of the most important things for us was to really truly come out with products that were different than everything else that was out there, right? Not just your Me Too CO2 device or your Me Too Q-Switch device for these two devices for this instance. But talk to us about the iBlaze and your experience with it and your success with it, and also talk about what you tell people in the market for an iBlaze.
I think that anybody who's looking to incorporate a full suite of rejuvenation should have a CO2 laser. And for us, it was really about safety and being able to give people a beautiful result in terms of resurfacing, in terms of rebuilding the skin. We really love that the CO2, the iBlaze itself, has different modes that you can play around with. You have something called low pain mode, which is essentially a no downtime mode, where you use very low energies, but it's still a CO2 energy, and it's giving you this nice resurfacing texture and tone improvement, beautiful glow without the crazy downtime that people normally see on social media. So that was something that we were very confident in, and we knew that we needed to incorporate something like that in terms, mostly because in South Florida it's hot all the time, and we essentially have summer all year long. So we wanted to give people results consistently throughout the entire year, including Dr. Fitzpatrick's. So we have an area of people here, Caribbean, mix. We have a lot of different mix of ethnicities that we have to play around with and be careful about. And for us, it was really important to get a CO2 device that was able to do a full resurfacing treatment, anything in between, including like scars, surgical scars, really very crappy skin, a lot of sun damage, and of investment that they're doing on their skin, on their face, on their body. So when you're able to combine different technologies like ColorMax and iBlaze, you're able to deliver different results, but at the same time. So it speeds up your results, it speeds up your return of investment financially for the practice, and also, of course, for the patient. It gives very high satisfaction rates on patients when they see their changes that they came in for. So if you have a concern and you want it addressed, you're able to get these patients that result quicker. And of course, you're, as a clinician, controlling the downtime that you want to deliver, having like set expectations for this patient, of course, ahead of time. And patients really love it. We have patients that are just thrilled. They know what to expect because we have the knowledge and the experience to guide them after doing a comprehensive treatment plan. But overall, they're very happy with the results.
Yeah, that's great. And talk to us a little bit about the difference really between the Color Max versus a traditional IPL, right? There are some clinicians that might not really know how much more versatile a Q-switch laser is just because Q-switch has evolved so much. And one of the things for us was we do have an IPL at Revive. It's called the Frac Light. It's an amazing IPL. But when you look at the Frac Light versus what the Q-switch does, the Q-switch is a lot more versatile. So talk to us a little bit about that, Gustavo, and about how you're using the Q-switch to treat, I would say, more than you just would with a traditional IPL.
Absolutely. So like I said, IPL has its role in aesthetic medicine. It's more of a flashlight. In my personal view, I like to explain it as you are going to be able to have less heat with a ColorMax Q-switch and jack. You're able to have more precision, and you also have the versatility of the hand pieces that you're playing around with. So if you want to target just strictly diffuse redness and some blood vessels, you have a very specific hand piece for that. However, the energy, when it's being delivered into your skin, it doesn't spill the way an IPL would. It doesn't create such an amount of heat. I have seen a lot of burns, primarily most of the burns that I see in my practice that I'm trying to fix that have been caused outside of our jurisdiction, of course, comes from IPL, unfortunately. And I just saw a patient last week. Her entire legs were completely burned. They have post-inflammatory hyperpigmentation. She kept looking for somebody who had a Q-switch and jack. She actually flew to Colombia to get this treatment done. And nobody has that device in South Florida but us. So she was able to find us, and she came in, and now we have a whole treatment plan ahead of her. But unfortunately, the IPL that was being used, not to mention any names, it was an IPL, unfortunately. And, now we're dealing with complications. So it is important to understand the device that you're getting into, to understand how efficacious it can be, how safe it can be, and also ensuring beautiful results. And, the ColorMax is able to give you that. We have established protocols that we follow where we were trained many years ago. We're also able to use ColorMax, like I said, along with other combination lasers and topical treatments. So patients are very happy in terms of just having the expectation that they're not going to come out worse and they're going to come out better than, in their initial concerns, of course. So that's what I love about the ColorMax, all the hand pieces that we're able to use, from tattoo removals to if you just have a little sunspot, we're able to just target that little sunspot. But what if you have a couple of blood vessels? We target the blood vessels, of course. And if you have full-blown melasma, we're able to treat deeper and deeper without the concerns of an IPL, which create a lot of heat. And you definitely don't want to use IPLs. Everybody knows, but for those of you that don't know, you don't want to use an IPL in melasma. That is a no-go, and we see it all the time. Whereas with a Q-switch and jack, you're able to do that, and pretty safely, actually.
Yeah, and I love what you just said. The Color Max is cleaning up a lot of the mistakes, right? That some people have made just by traditionally using an IPL on an area or a skin that shouldn't have had an IPL. And so I think that's awesome, and you're doing such great things with that product. And there's a lot of companies out there that boast, right? Having an IPL on an erbium laser, for instance, and things like that. Versus going in a traditional route of using the Q switch and then ultimately, resurfacing the skin with a product like the iBlaze, which, yes, it's more traditional, but I do believe personally that the results are better.
So coming around from understanding how franchises work, we wanted to keep our practice very personalized, very individualized, tailored, so that we don't lose that human touch. So we always have the highest standards. We're able to control protocols. We're able to deliver We're able to even tweak things as we go along the way. And a lot of times it's harder to do that when you're part of a bigger franchise unit, for example, where they have very strict things that you have to do. A lot of times the injectors are changing, the medical providers are changing, they're in transition. So unfortunately, that's something that we decided to keep as a priority for our clients, to make sure that we are able to give them our full attention, give them detailed plans, and go over what I like to call the most comprehensive get to know you plan in general. So we're very proud of that, also because we're able to incorporate what we believe are not fads or trends. It's important for us, for Karen and myself, it has been crucial to stay away from just trends. Things that are potentially not going to stay here for the long term, and things that could potentially harm somebody, especially like social media that's influencing. That's a whole nother topic, of course, for another podcast, but I did want to bring it up because there's a lot of trends and we have to be able to educate young patients, older patients, and be able to give them and empower them. But it's also up to us as clinicians to stay away from fads that are not here to stay and give them more what we call like clinical evidence-based medicine.
All right, Gustavo. So last question here that everybody wants to know. I definitely want to know. What do you want the people to know, right? The people of Florida, the people in the aesthetic industry, your patients that are looking to come in and potentially do aesthetic treatments. And I know that you have people that kind of come all over the place to come and see you, people from South America, people from other parts of the US, because you're such a well-known figure down in South Florida. Please tell us what you want everyone to know.
I definitely want everybody to know that we will create the most comprehensive get to know you treatment plan ever, guiding you every step of the way. That will be the most important thing. We're not here to use fads or trends. We're here to use evidence-based medicine to give you the best results. And I think that's one of the most important things as to why we have been able to achieve and deliver and retain so many clients along the years, is because of how we treat them and also how we use science and biohacking and longevity, medicine to make you feel and also to make you look your best. For clinicians in general, we definitely want to let you know that if you're at a point where you need to get a little bit more like understanding of lasers, or you want to get more understanding of the practice, how to grow your practice, how to incorporate services into your practice, or for injectors that wish to get trained, definitely give us a call, because we're here to support your practice and kind of like do it with you, do it along with you, and give you the tools that you need so that you're successful. And for us, that's really important. Karen and I, we're very into giving back and educating other people that want to grow and expand their businesses. So that's important for us. But for patients, there's something that we always say: I'll try it first before I give it to you. Before I use it on you, I want to make sure that I try. So the lasers, I've tried them all. The injectables, I've tried them all. I've tried all the peptides. I've tried just about everything you can think of before I even consider doing that on a patient. And so for us, that's really speaking about doing one and then showing it and, applying it to other people.
Yeah. Thanks so much, Gustavo. Really appreciate you joining us on the Revive Regenerative podcast. Such an incredible amount of knowledge and passion you bring to this industry. Guys, if you're in South Florida and you're looking for aesthetic treatments, go check out Gustavo and the team at Aguilar Aesthetics and MedSpa. You are in great hands. We'll see you on the next episode. Take care.